Welcome everybody to tonight's call. My name is Mick DeCibio, and I'm so thrilled to have our special guest with us this evening, Kate Kunkel. Kate is a certified Amen brain trainer. She's an author of some really amazing books, which we're so excited to share with you tonight and throughout the series. And our goal is to really share all of Kate's wisdom and knowledge and experience about brain health and mental health, and to really understand and appreciate how important the gut-brain connection is, right? So much of how we fuel our body, our lifestyle habits that we take on, all of these things work together to help us have the healthiest brain and just to feel our best, right? So Kate, without further ado, can I kick it over to you?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mick. I'm so excited to be back in the saddle again with Mick doing this. And I recognize some faces here. It's so nice to see you all. And thank you for giving up half an hour of your time to learn something new. And who knows whose brain you may be saving by absorbing a little of this information. I don't like to talk too much, but I do like to share information. So I've got a little PowerPoint. It's very short, and we're just going to talk our way through it because it's sometimes visual helps us remember things a little better, right? So here we are going to talk about how we can support a healthy brain through Tower Gardens, Juice Plus, and just good old-fashioned fruits and vegetables. I am a vegan nutritionist, so this is very near and dear to my heart. Can everybody see the slides? Mick, you got the slides okay?
Yes,
Okay.
looks great.
Perfect. So if you've been in this world for any length of time, you know that the gut-brain connection is basically how everything works. We have to have a healthy gut in order to have a healthy brain. And good way to do that is with proper nutrition, but not everybody understands how that connection is made. So basically, everything that goes into the gut ends up in some way, shape, or form in the brain because it is the nutrition, right? The gut microbiota that make up our microbiome are the messengers. They're the critters that give us the health. They make the neurotransmitters. They help the hormones be produced. Everything comes from the gut. So we really need to have a healthy gut if we're going to have a healthy brain. If we have an unhealthy gut, if we have an imbalance between the good and the bad guys in here, then we can have all kinds of problems. We can have inflammation, which is one of the primary drivers of dementia, and many other mental illnesses as well, because inflammation is not our friend anywhere. So we need these little guys, and we get them by eating properly. And of course, everybody's heard of probiotics. Lots of people eat yogurt or kombucha tea or sauerkraut or all of those things. Those are the probiotics. And yes, we absolutely have to have them because they are the seeds, so to speak, of the microbiome. But just like we have to feed critters, we have to feed the probiotics. We have to feed the microbiome. And we often do that through things like this: artichokes, Jerusalem artichokes especially, onions, garlic, asparagus, dark leafy greens are beans and seeds, and especially flaxseed. So these are the things that feed those little critters. But we all know how difficult it can be to get enough of these guys to feed those little critters in our gut. So Mick, I know that you have some great ways to do that that I'm not so familiar with.
Yeah, so thank you, Kate, for kicking it over to me. I think that many of us have heard that in order to have a healthy diet, we should be eating at least 7 to 13 servings, right, of a variety of fruits and vegetables every single day. So I'm just curious, by show of hands, how many of you are currently eating 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day? Just by show of hands. Okay. Yeah. And so how are you doing in the consistency? Do you feel like you're pretty consistent every single day? You're getting all the colors of the rainbow?
You
7
know
to
what I
13
do?
servings.
I
Yeah,
count. When I make a dinner, as I'm cutting things up, I'm looking, okay, I got this, and this is, oh, I'm missing this color and I'm missing this nutrient. So let's add this. And I'll just root around until I find something to throw in there.
right. No, I love that. I love that. And so, Kate, what do you use as a measurement for a serving? Do you use your fist?
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, because there are two of us when I'm cooking, it's two of us. So what I might do is add an extra color, or I might add an extra couple of different things as instead of just the seven, I might add a couple of extra things to add up. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So I love that. So that's wonderful that, so I saw some of your hands go up that with the 7 to 13 servings a day consistently. The other thing that I want to point out, this is something I learned in nutrition school, is that, variety is super important, right? So the problem though that most of us have, maybe not so much in this group, but I bet we all know many people who don't get 7 to 13 servings. Kate, in your case, you mentioned you're a vegan, right? So
Mhm.
you're very focused on that. Most people are not vegans,
Not so
right?
much.
So,
Hmm.
most people do have a struggle with, figuring out how to get that many in a day. And this is why I just want to make everybody aware of this product. It's called Juice Plus. And this is where our company takes 30 different fruits, vegetables, and berries, which we grow. We have farmers that grow for us. When they're vine ripened, the whole fruit, vegetable, or berry, the entire thing goes into a machine. It gets crushed and ground until it's pulverized. And then the food powders go into vegan capsules. So the product is actually vegan. So you can tell from the colors, a fruit, a veggie blend, a berry blend, and then there's the omega oils. So keep it in mind, if you or someone is not getting enough, you're not getting the 7 to 13 servings, or you're not getting, that variety, keep this in mind as an option, because it'll give you 30 plus foods every single day. So a little bit of many things. Um,
Exactly. And you know what? To help that microbiome, you really do need that variety. It's not just for the nutrients themselves, but to feed those little critters. They need all those different things. Yeah. For the
yeah.
different ones, we have different species, so we need those different things. And it is hard for most people to get it. I mean, I spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Not everybody can do that.
No, you're right. And the fact that this is raw is another
Yes.
characteristic to be aware of, is that it is raw. And then we also have a vegan shake mix that has prebiotics in it. So when you mentioned about feeding the critters, the prebiotics are super important as well.
Right.
So we just want you to know that there are resources, wonderful resources that are available out there. It is really hard to get all of this on your plates. So just be aware that whether it's through this concentrated produce, or even, what you see behind me here, I'm growing my own produce at home on a vertical tower. It's another way you can take control of your food. I see Diana smiling because I
Yeah.
think you now have two. You do have two. Okay. Okay. Um, so thank you, Kate, for,
You're
for mentioning that.
Yeah, well, it's important because not everybody can firstly take the time, and we know that it's expensive now. We know that it's expensive to get fresh fruits and vegetables right now. And if you're in a food desert where many people are, and you may have people that you know and love who are in a food desert where they just don't get access to the many, many varieties that are really necessary to help our microbiome. And the other thing is getting our vitamins. A lot of people think that this spoon full of tablets and capsules is the way. But I have to tell you, as a nutritionist, as a brain health coach, yes, we absolutely do recommend supplements for people who cannot get enough. But we really want to get it in our food, and whole foods like in Juice Plus products, or in going to the trouble and time of making meals that have those nutrients in them, because these are the things we need for our brains. We need all of the B vitamins, especially B12. So many people, and I don't care if they're eating meat, they're still going to be deficient in vitamin B12 because the soils are deficient. At this point, basically everybody is deficient in B12, and most people are also deficient in vitamin D3. Certainly if you're in North America, certainly if you pay attention to lockdowns. So you're probably deficient in vitamin D3, and it takes a while to get your optimal numbers back up. The other thing, most people, the omega-3 fatty acids, and I'm so glad that Juice Plus has a vegan version because it is hard to find in many places, the vegan omega-3 fatty acids. We really need all of these things. There are many more things, and you can read about them in the Plant Lovers Fast Start Guide. I have a whole list of things that are important for brain health, but these are essential. We just have to have them if we're going to keep our brains happy and those synapses firing and the microbiota happy. Also fats. You know, I know a lot of people are in this low fat, no fat thing. And from a brain health trainer's point of view, I can say that low fat, no fat is a killer. We need healthy fats, especially medium chain triglycerides. You can get those in, of course, coconut oil. We want pure olive oil. That's hard to find. I know that's hard to find on a regular retail basis, but those are things that are really important for our brains. Now, the fun part that I love to talk about is the vagus nerve. Show of hands, how many people know what the vagus nerve is? Hands up. Diana, you know, you've read my book. So the vagus nerve is this amazing nerve that travels behind our vocal cords, basically. And it sends information from our gut up to our brain and back down to all of the organs, all the major organs. So the gut, as I said before, everything we put in the gut talks to the brain, and this is how it does it, basically. It sends the messages of what's going on, the neurotransmitters, the hormones, all of those things are traveling up the vagus nerve. We want to keep this vagus nerve healthy and strong. So it's not just about the food we feed our gut, it's also nurturing the power that is this nerve that runs behind our vocal cords and all the way down from the brainstem. How does it affect us? Firstly, the brain, we've talked about that. When we eat something, we have sensors in our mouth, and they send messages into the vagus nerve, and it helps us. That's what tells us to gag, to swallow, to cough. It comes from the vagus nerve. That's where that information comes from. The vagus nerve also tells our blood vessels what to do. It tells us whether we're stressed. It tells us whether we have enough nutrients. So it tells the blood vessels how much oxygen to send around, and it tells the blood vessels what to do, what nutrients to send and how to send them. Of course, it has to do with our heart. It tells us how fast to go, and the heart in turn sends messages back to the vagus nerve, how much energy it's going to get. So we have to look after both those in synchronicity as well. It tells us the liver how to create or to regulate insulin, and it tells our gut how much we need how much gastric juice we need, how much action we need, how much acid do we have, how much is it too high or too low in acid. The main thing for brain health is that it tells the whole body about the inflammation. Is there something in the gut that's causing there could be a leaky gut, there could be gluten sensitivity, there could be so many things going on in the gut, and it tells the body, the vagus nerve then sends the message from there to every other part of the body. So we can get inflammation thanks to information that's coming from the gut through the vagus nerve, and that includes inflammation in the brain. Mick, did you have a question or comment?
Well,
No?
one thing I wanted to mention, Kate, or ask you about is serotonin. In terms of, because I believe 80% or something of serotonin
It's
is
in the gut.
made in the gut. So if you don't mind talking about that just a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, all of the neurotransmitters, we need them all in balance because they tell our brain what to do. We can be happy, we can be sad, we can be anxious, we can be depressed. So the serotonin, that message that comes from the gut is telling our brain how we're going to feel. It's all about mental health as well, not just brain health, because without a healthy brain, you also can't be mentally healthy. And it's
Right.
really or it's really difficult to have a healthy brain if you're not mentally healthy. It's
Right.
be, yeah, so it's a big circle. The
Absolutely.
serotonin, the dopamine,
Mhm.
even you know that if you have too much cortisol, we know that that's not good. But there can be such an overload of pain for some people, it could be a chronic pain condition, that it actually stops being produced. And you need a certain amount of cortisol. So
Right.
all of those hormones and neurotransmitters are very important. So that's why balance, and that's why we have to keep this super highway operating nice and smooth. It's got to be nice and strong. So just think of it like a highway without lots of, you don't want potholes on it. You don't want speed bumps in it. You want it to be operating smoothly and strong.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that you have inflammation on here too, because we know that, obviously that's a big factor, right, in brain health, or lack of health if you're highly inflamed.
Mhm.
And I just want to make sure everybody has noticed in the chat box, Kate has dropped a link to the recipes from her Plant Lovers Fast Start Guide. So I love the idea that, flooding our body with lots of plants. We know plants are natural anti-inflammatories. So it's like nature's built-in medicine, right? So I love that we have the products, we have the recipes, which of course we're going to share over the next 4 weeks in June. We're really excited, but I just want to make sure everyone just goes to the chat and sees the links that are there. Kate is also going to be part of this 2022 Reverse Alzheimer's Summit. So be sure that you take a look at that and consider registering as well, and flood your body with lots of plants.
Yes, lots of plants. So I just have a couple more things because I have a fun exercise I want to share with you guys. Because back to the vagus nerve, it's not just the microbiome, right? I talked about that. It's not just the food we eat, it's not just the energy we have. We want to strengthen this vagus nerve. And one of the best things we can do for it is to hum. We can sing, we can chant. Even gargling really aggressively is excellent for stimulating the vagus nerve. In fact, my dad, I taught him that, and he is very aggressive gargler now. But it's kind of funny when I stay with him. But anyway, the humming is a great exercise. Besides stimulating the vagus nerve, it also helps us de-stress. The very act of taking in a breath and humming it out is an amazing de-stressor because firstly, you're taking the breath. Well, a lot of people don't take a nice big belly breath very often. So we're doing that and we're going to exhale. It also helps lower your blood pressure. It increases levels of melatonin, which is something we need to go to sleep. And we do not want to supplement with melatonin on a regular basis because then our body forgets how to make it. So we want to decrease the levels of cortisol, not eliminate it, but we want to decrease it. We want to up the endorphins and the oxytocin, which is the love hormone. So we're going to do that tonight with just a simple exercise. It's called conscious humming. I hum all the time, like literally all the time. I got that from my Oma. And I think that's the reason she managed to stay really healthy despite many, many problems in her life, but humming. So take a nice deep breath. I like you to all just sort of straighten your back because that's another thing we want to do. If we want to keep our vagus nerve healthy and strong, we want to have good posture. So straighten up your back, take a nice deep breath. Put your hand on your chest, one on your chest and one on your belly. When you breathe in, you want the hand on your belly to move out. So nice deep breath. Make sure that belly is pushed out and then exhale with a hum. Another deep breath. Get that belly out and hum out. Sometimes Zoom cuts us out when we're humming. Do it one more time. You'll find that if you do this a few times a day, consciously humming, you will be able to firstly take a deeper breath because you're going to practice that diaphragm is going to get some exercise, but you'll also it'll be easier for you to make that sound, to really get the vibration going in your vocal cords because that's where the vagus nerve is. So I hope you do that. And of course, just hum anytime, whatever you're whatever you're doing it when you're driving, do it when you're cooking. I cook, I hum all the time when I'm cooking. I'm sure it drives my husband crazy. Let's finish this up. So we're going to hum, and now I get to invite you. I am so jazzed. For many years, I've been working to be accepted onto some big summit, and I was finally invited to present with my heroes, honest to God, Dr. Dale Bredesen and Dr. David Perlmutter and Dr. Heather Sanderson. These are the giants in brain health. And even though I only get to talk to Dr. Sanderson, the point is I get to be in this same room with them. And we are going to be sharing, there are 50 of us who are sharing information that will help you boost your brain. There are nutritionists, there are health coaches, there are doctors, just so many people that can offer information. And all of us have donated a gift that you can also claim. So the registration is free. As Mick pointed out, we put the registration link in the chat. And one of the gifts you get is from me. It's a copy of my book, The Musical Brain. So I do hope that you'll consider joining us, because those 2 weeks are going to be great for your brain and your mental health. And then Michelina has something cool coming up as well.
Yeah. So starting on June 13th, we're going to be doing this 10-day healthy living challenge. So we're really going to practice building more plant nutrition into our diets. We're going to really focus on that. We're going to focus on eliminating or minimizing the things that don't serve us, like processed foods, sugars, right? All that kind of stuff, toxic thoughts, even like really keeping our minds healthy by focusing on all the good. There's something good we can find in every single day, right? Just expressing gratitude. And then, what people find after doing this is that they're really sleeping better and just feeling more at peace and more confident about their own bodies. So I invite you to join us for that. You can drop a message in the text box here if you'd like to be a part of that. Again, that's going to be starting on June 13th. And just as a reminder, the remaining Wednesdays for the month of June, we're going to be in our kitchens. Oh, here we go. So go ahead, Kate, talk about
Yep. Oh, that's
salad.
okay. So next week,
Perfect.
I'm going to make a chopped Thai garbanzo bean salad, and it has a great spicy peanut sauce. If you can't eat peanuts, well, just make another kind of sauce. But the salad is really easy. We're using all kinds of colorful vegetables and spices that help you also boost your brain. And it is in the Plant Lovers Fast Start Guide. It will also be in the second edition of the Vegan Brain, which won't be available until July 1st. But you can get the recipe in the book, and it's only 99 cents. The book's 99 cents. So if you'd like to follow along with the recipes or pick some that you would like to try, that's a great place to start.
Yeah. Hey, I'm also looking for volunteers to help us showcase some of these in the rest of the series. So Diana, I know I've already got you on there, and Karen, fantastic. We'd love to have you join. So we'll be in touch for sure on that. So we're at 7:54 Eastern. We've got, again, to honor everybody's time, about 6 minutes. I'd love to open it up for questions or feedback. What has resonated for you all this evening? Any golden nuggets, feedback, questions? What's coming up for you?
I love the humming. I thought that was amazing. And I definitely could feel the belly going out and coming in. So I'm going to practice that. I like it.
Good, good. Yeah, your vagus nerve is going to love it too.
Hey, does singing in the shower count?
Yes, absolutely. Singing anything that gets this going. Singing in the car with the radio as loud as you can. Yeah. Yep, that helps too.
Well, and I mean, on this point of music, and I know you're also very talented musically, when we're stressed, I mean, I find it very helpful when I put on my favorite, station and just listen to music. I do feel like, especially if the song, or I play one of my favorite songs, it kind of like brings my stress level down.
Yep, we're designed for music. What was the first thing that we heard? What's the first sense to develop? Anybody know? Hands up. It's our sense of hearing. So the first thing we hear is our mother's heartbeat. And how does that go? It's a beat. It's a drum. So that's why so many cultures are so into drums, right? So whether it's drum beat or songs that you love, pop songs, classical music, we are designed. We humans are designed to love music, and we are designed to feel better with it. So yeah, you're right on, Mick. It's great for you.
Yep. What else, friends?
Hi, this is Karen.
Hi,
And
Karen.
Karen.
sorry, I didn't put my video on. Anyway, so I love the topic of brain health. I keep running into all these parents of ADD, kids ADHD. They feel it's helpless and that they're genetically wired that way. And I've been communicating more and more about how there is a connection between the gut and the brain. And just even yesterday, sitting at a soccer game, having this dialogue with a grandmother, she said her son was, and so the grandchildren all are, and they're all on meds. So I
Oh.
love that even there's a brain summit, and that I can help these people, point them in the right direction,
Yes.
as far as helping get to a solution to their health problems.
Yeah.
So
First, number
thank you so
one.
much.
Yes, you're welcome. Number one, sugar. Out the sugar. Get rid of
Yeah.
the sugar. For these kids, sugar is, firstly, it's inflammatory for all of us. But secondly, it affects a part of the brain that doesn't function very well when you have ADD.
Right.
So it's really important to get rid of that stuff. That's the first thing I always start with. I ask the parents, you can give dates, you can give other things, bananas made into an ice cream type thing to
Right.
get that sweet taste. But that's the first thing. But yeah, and you know what? Contact me if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. I don't charge for that. I deal with a lot of people, even here, because they're crazy for sugar in Ecuador. So I deal a lot to help kids with that. So please don't hesitate to ask me if you want any help, Karen. I'm happy to give you resources.
Thank you so much. What's your link with Ecuador?
I live here.
Oh, you live in Ecuador. Sorry, I missed
That-
that.
That's okay. I don't think I mentioned it when we came on. No, I live here. I've been here 5 years almost now. And I spend a lot of time in the community. I don't just sit in our expat ivory tower. So I spend a lot of time in the community. And one of my big things in life is to help people get a little healthier here because they are not.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Thank you.
My
Oh, go ahead.
grandson's teacher grew up in Ecuador. Her family was a missionary family there. And I
Oh,
just met her the other day. So I was like, oh, maybe you know her, but small world. Go ahead.
it is. It
Small
is.
world. It
Mhm.
is. I was just going to suggest, Karen, can I make a recommendation for the soccer moms?
Yes.
So have you thought about maybe offering some of the protein ball snacks, bringing those maybe to the games and offering those as something for the kids rather than the sugary stuff?
No, but I will.
Yeah, you may
Thanks for that
like,
idea.
yeah, you may like to do that because it's a great option where, like Kate said, it's a little bit sweet, but it's all it's all plants. It's the stevia plant. But it's also got all the wonderful plant proteins in it. So it's a great swap for what some of these kids are eating. And I know, because I remember the days when my kids were, I dreaded when, I don't know if this is how it is by you, but by us, every family would take a week to like bring snacks for the whole team. And I dreaded that because my kids were always getting junk. Like I would have much rather bring my own snack for my own kid week after week, as opposed to having, which I wound up doing anyway. So yeah, but that's just a healthier option to have. What else?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for jumping on. I see you're on.
I have a question about heart rhythm and the vagus nerve.
Mhm.
So, a lot of people will have an arrhythmia and it's, can be life-threatening.
Sure.
Do you think the vagus nerve being affected by stress in one's life, then affecting the heart rhythm?
It will depend on
Altering
why the
it?
heart, it'll depend on why the arrhythmia is there, like what the physical construct, because it can be from many sources, right? But a good place
Yeah.
to start is working on decreasing stress. And something like humming, honesty, it sounds so crazy, but it really helps. But also diet to get some healthy most people do not have a healthy microbiome. So
Right.
that's another part, and that hugely affects the heart. I had a vegan cardiologist on my show, Brain Health Matters, back in January, and she said that it's one of the biggest problems when they get people on a diet that has them with the proper balance of microbiota. Their hearts start healing because their hearts need that nutrition just like our brains do, right?
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Nature has a lot of wonderful, you know, medicinal properties built right in, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, if
Oh.
the arrhythmia is something that's congenital, that's a different story because some people are born and that could have been because of a lack of nutrition on the mom's part. But there are so many reasons for it that it's hard to say without knowing the structure.
Oh, yes, I understand.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Yeah.
learn more from you about the vagus nerve and the connection with heart health. Yeah.
I think I have a blog on that. If you want to check my website at katekunkel.com, that website has a blog on it. And I think I did something in there. I know I've written so much I can't kind of forget, but I think there's a blog in there on the vagus nerve.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you, friends. It's wonderful to see everybody. I want to thank you all so much. Please, please, please mark your calendars for the rest of the month. Well, as you know, we meet here every Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern time. And next week will be with quote unquote Kate in her kitchen.
Yeah, lots of room. I
Forward to
love
seeing
to
you
cook.
there.
Thanks, everybody.